Good afternoon, friends, and thank you very much for coming here this afternoon. I have a couple of announcements to make, and then I will take a few questions um, during this part of the briefing. The first announcement that I have to make is regarding the visit of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia. The Foreign Minister of Indonesia, Dr. Marty Natalegawa, is visiting India for the fourth round of the Joint Commission meeting at the Foreign Ministers level. The meeting will be held on 27th July. The Foreign Minister will also address the Indian Council of World Affairs. India and Indonesia enjoy an excellent relationship based on a solid foundation of age-old cultural and commercial linkages. The relationship has been further strengthened following the signing of the strategic partnership in 2005. Today, bilateral trade has touched 20 billion, and Indian investments in Indonesia are rising. Indonesia is an important member of ASEAN and a partner in our Look East policy. The two countries enjoy close cooperation in trade and investment, energy, agriculture, science and technology, space, coal, oil and gas, and other areas. The second announcement that I have to make is that the Foreign Secretary had Foreign Office consultations with his counterpart from Bangladesh. These were held in a very cordial, warm and constructive atmosphere, and the two sides had comprehensive discussions on the entire gamut of bilateral relations, and this includes political and security related matters, border management, counterterrorism, trade and investment, water resources, power cooperation, including renewable energy, connectivity, development cooperation, and increasing people-to-people ties. That is what I have in terms of formal announcements, and I'm willing to take a few questions if any of you have any. Pardon? Yes, it was held in Delhi this morning.
You said water resources also discussed. Teesta problem was discussed or anything?
When we mention all aspects, certainly I'm certain that it includes the issue that you refer to, and yes, it was raised, and you are aware of our position on this, that we are in the process of working out an internal consensus on this, and when we are ready, we will take it forward. Yes, Manish.
Violence in Syria is escalating by the day. What are we doing to ensure the security of our assets and personnel there, Indians there? And also, latest reports indicate that the country is heading for a regime change of sorts. What are our views on that?
I will skip the second question because it is not our policy to comment on issues relating to regime change. But that said, I think the first question bears a response, and that is, as you are aware, we have put out an advisory that specifies that all travel to Syria should be restricted for the present. Also, our ambassador has been in touch with the Indians who are resident there and has advised them to leave the country.
How many?
Let me complete and I will certainly answer that. The third point that I wanted to make was that we are also, we have assessed the security situation there, and family members of Indian embassy personnel there are being evacuated back to India. That leaves your question about the number of Indians there. At the start of this crisis, there were about 900 Indians in Syria. There are less than 100 left there, of which the majority would be from the Indian embassy there. Of those will also be trimmed out because most are leaving. We have advised most to leave there, and that will leave our embassy personnel of 13 to be the largest share of Indian nationals there. There are a few others who are from the missionaries Mother Teresa's outfit, and there are some others who are there who are not in areas of danger, but the rest all have been advised, including every Indian has been advised to, since there is air connectivity there, they could make arrangements to leave.
Sir, about Bangladesh, I want to ask. How big was the delegation from our side, which departments were there, and how big were there? Anything conclusive came out of this meeting, and is there any high-level visit between the two countries in the near future?
Yes, both the Indian and the Bangladeshi delegation were composite ones. That means they were from the Ministry of External Affairs, but also from other ministries, the Home Ministry, the Commerce Ministry, the Shipping and Transport Ministry. These are the ones which I can recall offhand. As regards the meeting and its outcome, first of all, I would like to mention to you that this meeting is to take forward the policies that are already agreed to by the Prime Minister last year, by the two Prime Ministers last year, and the two Foreign Ministers at the JCM meeting, which was held in May. So it's more a policy implementation meeting than a policy formulation. But that said, I think you've also asked about likely visits. We are expecting the Commerce Minister to visit Bangladesh in December for a trade fair, an India trade fair, and that will be a major activity that we intend to take to focus on during the rest of the year. There are also other smaller visits of various officials that are likely to take place, and these are just being worked out. But the major visit that we have next on the calendar is the visit of the Commerce and Industry Minister.
There were reports about border market between India and Bangladesh at any point of time.
Yes.
Was this part of the talk, and any improvement in trade between the two countries?
Yes, you were talking about border hearts, I think. Yes, these were opened in Meghalaya, and both the sides seem to think that they have been very successful. As you are aware, since then we have suggested that these should be opened in other states, and careful attention is being given by both the sides to opening these elsewhere. We hope to have some good news at some stage in the future, because the experience of both Bangladesh and India to these border hearts has been a very happy one. And what was your second question?
Any scope of increase in
Trade.
between the two countries?
You see, since the agreements came into being, we haven't completed a year. So it's difficult to make an assessment of an increase in trade, because you can only do it for a comparable period in the previous year. But yes, there have been increases in various areas. For example, ready-made garments. Also, there are various other areas where Bangladesh, as you are aware, I think, now Bangladesh enjoys duty-free access to India in virtually every area, except for alcohol and maybe one other thing. So therefore, there is likely to be an increase in trade activity. The figures will be known at the end of the year, and we will certainly share it with you. Yes.
Bangladesh is setting up a nuclear power plant close to Indian border. Is it first of all with the help of the Chinese, or have this been issue raised, or what is the status of that? I mean, it is in a planned stage now.
Yes, this is not a new story that Bangladesh, like India, is interested in nuclear energy. And nuclear energy, we in India feel, is a clean form of energy. It is also in the context of requirement of energy security. Various countries are looking at it. There are 30 countries in the world which have nuclear power plants, including India, and Bangladesh has been looking at it. My understanding, I do not want to get into the details, but my understanding is that they have signed a memoranda of understanding with the Russian Federation on this, and perhaps they will be in a better place, will be better placed to explain to you what type of reactors, where it is, etc. and all. But I would just like to tell you, based on my own experience of such matters, that these things take a long gestation period, and so a nuclear power plant takes anything between 6 to 10 years to come up. So we are talking of a time frame which is, but I would suggest that you may like to address your question about the specifics of that to our colleagues and friends in Bangladesh.
But the site selected is very close to Indian border. So do you think India should have any opportunity?
Well, I think there are IAEA conventions on this of location of sites and issues relating to transboundary issues. We are very familiar with it because India is a very active member in the International Atomic Energy Agency, and we understand what are the requirements for these and what countries need to do. At this stage, as I said, 10 years in advance of something, let's not jump the gun on that. Let's wait for decisions, and there will be discussions if they are required. Yes, just a minute. There seem to be some more. Yes, Maha.
Sir, what efforts are being made by India to secure the early release of the 25 Indian fishermen who've been detained in Sri Lanka? Also, any update on the fisherman who was killed off the Dubai coast?
Yes, as regards the fishermen in Sri Lanka, yesterday our High Commissioner had met the Attorney General, and this has been raised in Sri Lanka, in Colombo. We've also discussed this with the Sri Lankan High Commissioner here in India, and counsel from the Consulate General of India in Jaffna has visited Mannar. He's met the fishermen, and he's reported that they are in good health. Our understanding is that these fishermen have been remanded to custody for 2 weeks, and that is till August 6th perhaps. Also subsequently we've noticed, or we've, like you, seen the Sri Lankan High Commissioner make some statements about an early release, and we have no reason to disbelieve the statements made by him. Oh, yes, sorry, Dubai. My understanding is that all the arrangements have been completed, and tomorrow the mortal remains are likely to reach Trichy directly from Dubai. Yes.
Sorry. The question was that the Deputy Defense Secretary of the U.S. was here yesterday, and when someone asked him about this incident, the shooting, he said that the investigations were not complete, and that although he was sorry for the loss of lives, he wouldn't be able to comment further. So yesterday when he met the Foreign Secretary, was there any discussion on this particular issue, and also on larger issues of security in the Asia-Pacific region? Thank you.
As regards the Defense Assistant Secretary of Defense's meeting, I have nothing further to add, because our view has always been that the US and the UAE are both conducting investigations. They have assured us that they will share the outcome of those investigations with us. They have assured us here in New Delhi and in Washington and in Abu Dhabi, and we await the outcome of those investigations. On the other element, I'm sorry, I do not have a readout of that meeting, so I cannot add to your knowledge on that. Yes. As you are aware, the Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister has mentioned himself that he had suggested 7th, 8th, 9th as the dates, and my understanding is that these stand confirmed. Of September, yes, that's right. Thank you very much. 7th, 8th, 9th of September, and these stand confirmed. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is about what happened in Beijing. We've learned that there was an exhibition from the Indian side in which our ambassador himself inaugurated the event, and later a film show was screened in which a particular Indian state was shown in a very bad light, commenting on Indian democracy, etc. So what is has the ministry, taken cognizance of the matter, and is anything being done?
Yes, like you, I too read this story. My understanding is slightly different from what you've portrayed it, and that is that there was an exhibition called the Indian Highway Exhibition. It consists of more than 200 works from 29 leading Indian contemporary artists. It was open to the general public on 24th of June 2012. That's about a month ago. Now, this Indian Highway Art Exhibition was actually premiered in London in 2008. Since then, it has traveled to cities like Oslo, Rome, Lyon, and after Beijing, it's also traveling to Moscow. So it's not something new. Now, there was a video exhibit that was noticed. So it's not a painting or anything. There's a video exhibit that was about 4 odd minutes, and it exhibited random interviews with several Indian youth at a shooting stall in a city fair. And it was incidentally created by a 2009 Sanskriti awardee by the name of Mr. Tejal Shah. It's been brought to our notice that it had some politically controversial overtones. We have taken this up, our mission has taken it up with the organizers, and since then the organizers have removed that exhibit. If there aren't any other questions. Yes, sir. Yes. Sorry.
This is about the UN expansion, ongoing UN Security Council expansion. The S5 had a meeting in New York a few weeks ago. They were planning to introduce the so-called short resolution in the UNGA, but the P5 apparently dissuaded them from doing it. And the C10 had a meeting in Addis Ababa, and my understanding is that the S5, C10, and L69 together will coordinate and take it forward. What is the update? You have anything to say on that?
Your understanding is absolutely correct.
What now? What next?
As you said, they will coordinate and take it forward. Last question, please. Yes, Jyoti.
About these young men misbehaving themselves in the youth delegation in China? And who are these people? Where are they from? And how come nobody said anything to them?
I think this is a youth delegation which was put together by the Ministry of Youth and Youth Affairs. May I therefore request you to address this question to them? How they were selected, what was the basis, how did they do a winnowing process? It's for them to make that decision. And you're right that there have been reports of some of them misbehaving, and the Secretary for Youth Affairs was with them, and my understanding is that she has taken fairly strict notice of this and has initiated some action in that regard. I would hope that you would excuse me from giving further information, because this is in the province of some other ministry, and I've deliberately tried to provide you information but not to transgress the limits of my jurisdiction. Thank you very much.